Hi there, it's Sandy, and today we're making a chicken wire swan. Actually we're doing the neck and the head of it because you should have already completed the body in the previous tutorial. So, your body, you should have ended up with something looking like this with a point at one end and the open bit at the other end. That is in a separate tutorial, and also there's a separate tutorial for the beak. So this is actually the Christmas tree tutorial, and both of those are linked down below. So you can go and finish those because you can't carry on and do the neck piece until you've got the body as well. While you're down there, if you fancy it, you can subscribe and hit notifications on the channel because we've got more videos coming up and I wouldn't like you to miss them really. Please do keep these out of reach of children and pets. There are sharp bits on them, you can't catch all the wires, and it's safer if you can just keep them out of reach of children and pets. So for this tutorial we're doing the neck and the head. You need your body first. I'm going to run you through the tools and materials. Once you've got all those, grab your body, grab your tools and materials, and we're going to get making. Here's what you're going to need in the tools and materials department. A pair of gloves with leather palms on them. If you can get leather backs, all the better, because you will get stabbed, I know I do. So leather palms, absolutely essential, and wear those when you're working with the chicken wire. You're going to need a pair of side cutters. These are heavy duty DIY ones. These are for just small amounts of cutting when you're making the sculpture. I've got a pair of flat nose pliers. Here they're flat nosed at the end. Chain nose will do just as well, that's fine. You just need a pair of pliers to be able to move the chicken wire around. For doing lots of cutting, when you're cutting the chicken wire off the sheet, this is a pair of snips. And these will help you to do large amounts of cuts down the line of the chicken wire. And you can use them sort of when you're sculpting, but they're just a bit bigger to handle, that's all. So you need a pair of those, or you can do it with just these, it just takes a bit longer. So there's your cutters. Absolutely essential pair of safety glasses. These are over glasses, and I'm just going to put these straight on right now because they need to be worn. There we go. And your final little piece of equipment is, I've already got mine on, is something canvas. I wear a canvas apron when I'm working because it doesn't catch woolens and things like that and ruin your clothes while you're doing it. So that's a bit of protection on you. Then your materials. Now for the beak of the swan, you're going to need a roll of 1.2 galvanised steel wire. You might get away with a 1mm one as well if you can't find the 1.2, no problem. Then you need some chicken wire, so you need 2 pieces of chicken wire. This is the body. Now I'm going to flash up a photo that will show you how to measure this. It needs to be 36 centimetres by 22.5 centimetres. The 36 goes round here and the 22.5 goes down the length so that it rolls up into a longer cylinder. Just going to flash the photo up now so you can come back to it when you're doing your measurements. Okay, so that's for the body. Once you've got that piece, you then need the neck piece. So you only need 2 pieces of chicken wire. Here's the other. It's too long to get in the shot. Now again, I'm just going to flash a photograph up so you can come back to it when you're doing your measurements to see how to do it. Okay, so you want 57 down the length of it, and you want your 21 round the circle when you take it off the roll. Okay, and that is it. That is all you need, nothing else, and you'll be able to make the swan. So let's go. Grab your chicken wire. You want a 57 centimetre length here. Can't get it all in the shot, so I'll just have to move it in and out to show you various bits. And it's 21 centimetres in that direction, and it's all ready to go. So you've trimmed off all your end wires at either end if it's come off the roll as well. The first thing you want to do is to do another seam. So we've already done the seam on the body, and it's exactly the same approach with this one. So you want to overlap it again by 2 hex. You could probably get away with 1 hex if you wanted, but two is better. I'm just going to curl that in so it's not sticking up so much. Okay, So you want to overlap it by 2 hex, like so. So it's quite a, oops, try and do it straight at the bottom, that's it. So we've got a 2 hex overlap. Just to make it a little bit clearer for you, I'll just pop up the photo that we used for the body as well to show you where the overlap goes. Okay, so you're overlapping, but this time we're doing it slightly different because we're not going to seal up, whoops, the whole length. What you need to do is measure, decide where your top and your bottom is. So I've already closed that, so I'm going to use this end. This will be the open end. So grab a ruler and you want to measure up the length of your wire, 17 centimetres, and you're going to leave that open. Leave that open, so you've got 40 here, and you've got 17 here. This stays open, and you can start putting your overlap in from the 17 centimetre point. So I'm going to just get this into place, except I've now forgotten where 17 centimetres exactly was. That's there, and that's going to go right the way over. It can fight you a little bit on this, but it'll just make the neck a little stronger if we can get, there we go. So I'm going to put my finger in there and double check my measurements. So, see, that's about 20 to there, so I want 17, which is there, which is 2 squares down, 2 hexagonals down. So I'm going to put my finger in there. And you know what they say, measure and measure again. So this will be open in a minute, it's not looking very open at the moment. That's about 17 centimetres, and I'm going to put the first join in here so that I know I've got all my measuring done, and that's where I want it. That's it. So if you can see, all I've done is the same process as with the body. I've just taken one of the pointy bits, wrapped it under and pulled it over. So these pointy bits here, you can see, are just going to wrap in to the bit under the wire underneath and pull them through up the top. So you want to do that for the rest. Leave this open. Let's get this open a little bit more. That's it. Like that. It does catch your. So I'm just going to do a double check. Here's my body that I've got before, and I want that part of the neck to start. Yeah. So I've got enough there to wrap onto the body and come underneath from there. Yeah. So I'm happy that's all okay. You can check with yours as well if you want to, but you need to have enough here to be able to go under the body a little bit and attach onto the top as well. So that's 17 centimetres. I'm now going to go up the length of the neck. I'm going to put another one in place here. So I'm just going to, there's a convenient wire there just begging to be twisted round. So that's just a quick attachment there. And doing what I normally do, I'm going to go up to the other end of the tube just to help secure it a little and stop it rolling around quite so much. Turn it this way a bit. So I'm going for a 2 hexagon overlap. They kind of match up now. I'm going to take one of the wires, push it in, under the sheet underneath, under the sheet underneath, there, and I'm going to pull it through the opening as well. There we go. Okay. Pull it through there. So that's attached that into place. just fold some of these under. We'll be trimming later, so this end will probably disappear. But you can see I still need to go up the length of the neck. So I'm just going to pre-bend it so that it fights me a little bit less. And I'll go on to silent and just run up the seam into different places and get the whole of the tube finished. So I've done a very quick job on that. There's lots of wires sticking out that I'm not happy with yet, but they can be sorted out later. So I'm not too worried. And the next stage is to open the bottom half out more, especially at the edge, like that. Something's moved a little bit. I'm still happy that that's still 17. Yep, I'm still happy that's 17. It is worth checking as you go along that things haven't come out or got detached. So I'm just circling that up a little bit more and opening that out so that it's a bit more sprayed out like this, because the body is going to have to push the body here with my magnet, which is stuck to it. So the body needs to come in and fit in here. There we go. So that's the idea. So you open out, it's already trying to attach itself. So you open it out like that, and then your body, so the open end, so the open end here, you've got your tail pointy bit at the other end, open end goes into this V shape here. So slide it in, if well, you probably won't be able to slide it in, but you want to position it in. So don't worry about this gap here, we'll sort that out. Make sure you can close it though. Yeah, so you can still close this here. So I might just set, but you also want to be able to overlap this at the bottom. So I'm going to open that out a little bit more because I'm not happy I've got it right the way in. So I'm going to open that there. So the reason I didn't like it was because this here, I want this to overlap up here, and I couldn't, it was just sort of there, and I want the body further up into the sculpture of the neck, like that, so that if you can see, body there, so that this will fold up underneath like this. So that's what I'm looking for. I want a little bit of overlap here, and I want this right up into the neck, as long as we can shut the neck. So you want to be able to make sure we can shut the neck at the top as well, which it looks like we can. Not going to do that yet. And the other thing we want to check is that the tail and the neck are both in the same direction, so they're both pointing up. So you don't want the tail pointing over here and the neck pointing that way, or the tail over here and the neck pointing that way. You want the tail pointing this way, which is the same as the way the neck goes, so everything is in line. So once you've got that in place, there, and it comes down the front here, then I'm going to hold it there. I'm going to grab my cutters and I'm going to look at these here, just perhaps those two, or maybe that one as well. And I'm just going to snip these because that will give me longer wires. That's it. That will, if you pull them out like that, that gives me, there we go, that gives me these long wires to attach onto the main body. Okay, so fold that up in the middle, so it should be round about where the seam is, like that. It does become a bit of a holding dilemma. So round about where the seam is, I want to pull that up there and attach that through into the body sculpture that you've already got. There we go. So that's kind of got the body. Double check I've got everything before we go any further. So this is pointing up, the next pointing up. The seam is at the bottom here. So I'm then going to attach the next one. So I only want to do the ones in the middle, around about the seam. And you want quite tight connections with this because it's got to hold the neck in place. And then I've got another long one there, which I'm going to pull in there. That's it. And then I've got another long one here. Which I'm going to rotate onto there at the bottom. Okay, so we've attached the base here, and if we take a look at the neck now, you can fold it over, and there's a very obvious, I've got a very obvious one here, which I can, is reaching far enough into the body that I can attach it. Fold it under there. Now just do one for now, so it just firms it up and holds it in place. So that's one on the back there. Make sure all these fold over okay and seal up as you go along. That's it. So there's no gap here. That's what you're trying to do. You don't want a hole in the chicken wire. You want this to overlap. So there's another one now that looks really obvious just here, that's easy to fold in, just there, under, back over. Okay, now don't worry about these bits, I'll show you what we'll do with those in a minute. So we've attached the bottom and we've put a couple in place on the back, and now what we want to do is to take off these triangular bits here and here. So grab your cutters again, and just again it's you just want to cut on a diagonal across this sort of making a triangle here. You don't want to take it too close, but do leave yourself some long wires as you cut it to be able to tie it back onto the body. Way, so that can just be gently be folded down around the swan. Trim it more if you think there's too much there and you don't like it, that's fine. And then you want to do the same on the other side. You just want to take out, leave yourself some, just in a triangle across that piece. That's it. Bend that off, throw that away. Just clear me That's it. Clear all my little pieces out. And then again, this can just be bent round to see how it goes, and if there's anything you think needs to come off, any more trimming that it would benefit from. I've got one there that can probably go. It's just a bit excessive. I'll just take that little bit out. Grab your magnet. You don't have to have a magnet if you don't want to. This is just, I like this one, it's a telescopic one, so if something drops on the floor I can just drop it down onto the floor without bending over, and it clears the work area for me, so I haven't got bits hanging around which invariably get on the floor. So we're now in a position where we can start. There's these edges here that need to be attached to the body, but also at the front of the body section you'll see there are some wires through here which have now poked through the neck piece, which also need folding up. So all I'm going to do, I'll go quiet again, is I'm going to go through all the loose wires. I'm going to attach this piece onto here, and I'm going to attach this piece where it comes through here onto the neck piece, and then it'll be nice and firm and steady. Again, I've not done it fully. I will leave that for a process at the end. I can also see that inside I've got some wire that kind of goes into the neck from the body, and I don't want that, so I'm just going to curl that back a little bit so that looks neater around. That just makes it look neater around the joint where the neck is. I'm just going to pull that down a bit further because it's not quite where I want it. So there we go, we've attached the neck to the body, and then we can start doing a little bit more shaping. So just smoothing it and rounding it. Now if you see bits where you've accidentally pushed it in, you can actually pull those up with your pliers and make it into more of a proper join. Whoops. Yeah, watch the other end of the chicken wire, because that's why you wear your glasses, because it can sort of, when you're working with this bit, it can flip up like this and smack you in the face. So yes, it is well worth keeping your glasses on and working with it, and just being aware that you've got a second side, as it were, to your sculpture that's still available and out there and ready to hit you when you're not looking. So just keep moving it around until you're happy with where it is. Still some of those to attach down, and just mould it around the join till it's nice and curvy. Have a nice curvy swan we can, and looks more like one whole piece. So that's pretty much the process for attaching the neck to the body. As I say, we can finesse it later. Then what we want to do is turn it over and come back up to this end. So we want to put the head, so obviously there's got to be a bend somewhere. So your body is here and your neck will want to go this way. So it'll go in the same plane, or maybe if the swan's turning its head, you can decide that later. So your body comes this way and your head will go this way. So you want to lie it down. Measurement wise, you're looking at round about 10 centimetres from the top. So if we put this here, grab the old ruler, and we're looking round about 10 centimetres, which is here. Now it's up to you, but I'm going to stand it up and just have a look like that, which unfortunately I can't get it all in the shot, but I'm going to have a look, and if and sort of gently, just gently bend it a little bit like that, with the sculpture standing up, and then just check your proportions and see whether you're happy with the neck there, or whether you want to, on mine, with how the piece has gone on, I think actually I want that a little bit lower. So I've decided when I bend it like that, it actually looks better about here, with the neck here. That is, again, it's about 17 centimetres, so it's up to you. Each of your sculptures is going to be different. It's always worth doing a quick check, so do it bend like that, and just look at the whole sculpture together, and just decide if the proportions look okay or not. So you can start with 10 centimetres, see what that looks like, and then I'm going to go for 17 centimetres from the top. So this 17 centimetres here. My body's going this way, so my head is going to go this way. And all I'm going to do is just very gently, it's the easiest way to do it there, just gently pull that over like that. Try not to flatten this out too much, because you don't want it too flat, you still want it rounded out. So keep that rounded out, and then you can see this is starting to form the shape of a swan. So with the head, again, it's a proportional thing. It's how long you want. Don't forget you've got a beak to go on as well. How big a head do you want? So I'm just going to measure that to let you know how long that is. So from the bend, that's about 7 centimetres from the bend of the neck to the nose. Now to do the beak, you want to start squeezing. It's almost like a straddle hole, so just squeeze, 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 squeeze. So you end up with this kind of a shape coming in, and just keep squeezing until you're forming a kind of a closed section there. Okay, then grab your cutters and make sure you've got some long pieces of wire again that you can use to attach. It's a long one, so don't worry if they're sticking out. What's more important is there's some pieces you can use for attaching. I want quite a pointy, nose really. I've still got one to take out somewhere in there. That's it. So there we go with that. So I'm just going to clear up my little pieces of wire. Okay. So we've now got quite a pointy, ugly little beak forming. And I'm just going to shape it a little bit more so it's coming in. And then what we want to do is, here's your Christmas tree that you made using the other video, and we're going to pop the wires inside your Christmas tree. It will fight you, it always does. So pop your wires inside your Christmas tree like that, so that your beak is fitted quite nicely and up to there. Okay. You see how that effect now is starting to look more like a head. Then grab your pliers and start bringing it in. And it can be tricky, without a doubt. I'm actually going to move it out. There we go. You want a wire over the top of your Christmas tree spiral and fold it back and under to hold your beak in place. And we're talking small bits now, so we're starting to get a lot more fiddly. That one's sticking out, so I'm going to push it in. And that one's not really gone under, so I need to make sure that goes under. That one. So it's just a matter of finding your wires that are sticking out over your beak, fold a few round, give them a pinch, then take a look at the overall effect of what you've got. And I'm not too happy with that at the moment. It's a bit rounded here but a bit flat at the top. So what I'm going to do is a little bit of manipulation to bring that down a little bit and to bring the beak into a slightly different place. This is why it's always good to check as you go along, because you see things that you perhaps don't like so much, and places where you want to move your beak around. It's never quite an exact science, so doing a couple of wires first and then doing a couple afterwards, once you've had a good look from a distance, is usually a good way of doing it. There we go. That's attached, and I've got more of a head shape into the beak there, and I've got a little bit of cheeks at the bottom as well. I'm just going to pull that up there. So there is your beak attached. Another wire here that can come over, attached to your swan. That one's sticking out, and that's a very big piece. I don't really want that, so I'm going to just go in and very gently make sure you're cutting the right wire. Hold your hand over it. That's it. But you've got your safety glasses on anyway, so you should be okay. Haven't you? Good. Let's hear it. And then really it's a matter of, once you're happy with your head, and then you've got the rest of your body and everything's there and finished and completed, and you can go round and just tidy up all your wires. You don't really want any sticky outy pieces if you can possibly avoid it. Particularly I would keep these away from children and dogs, because they do have pointy ends that can be quite sharp, as you can probably see from the inside of my hand, my arm. I've already been attacked there. So I would keep them away from children and dogs as much as possible, out of the reach, definitely. But that is your completed, I'll move him through there, what's it for you, that is your completed swan, and he's ready to go out in the garden. So I hope that was all okay for you. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up down below, that would be really good. If you want to see more videos coming up, because there will be some more, absolutely, then subscribe down below and hit the bell so you get notifications when they come out. And do leave me some feedback. This swan was a result of some feedback, and if you want to see your sculpture or your request made up on the screen for you, then drop me some feedback down below and let me know what you'd like me to make. That would be lovely. Over on the Facebook page I'll post some ideas of what to do with your swan, because there's a couple of things you can do apart from just popping them out in the garden. There's a couple of different things you can do. So that'll be over on the Facebook page. There'll be a link for that below as well if you want to catch up with those. That's everything, I think. Thank you for being here. I hope you have a happy time making your swan sculpture, and I hope it graces your garden wonderfully. Take care, and we'll see you next time.